All right, so again, going through my step-by-step. So first thing I'm going to do is plot the information. Well, I have 4 sets of points. Not only am I going to plot the information, though, I'm also going to want to label the information. So we have an x-axis, and we have a y-axis, right? Plotting information. So our foci is at 7, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up 1. And at -5, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, positive 1. Does everybody see that? Yes. And then we need to identify the co vertices. Is that over 1, up 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the other co vertice is at 1, that should be -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My apologies. That's probably why that one didn't make sense. OK, so that should be at -7. Apologies. I guess, dang it, I got to write those in. All right, so now determine if it's the horizontal or major axis. So remember, the major axis is either horizontal or it's going to be vertical. So the first thing we'll want to do is remember what goes through the major axis. The major axis, yep, oh, come on. You should be writing this stuff down. The major axis is going to be what lies on the vertices as well as the foci. So ladies and gentlemen, there's only one way that our major axis is going to be. Horizontal. It has to be horizontal, because on the major axis lies the foci and the vertices. So it has to be horizontal, right? It can't be vertical. That's where the co-vertices are. The major axis has the foci and the vertices. The problem is we don't know where the vertices are, but we know they're going to be somewhere along this line. So if I continue this line, I know my vertices are going to be somewhere along that line. All right? So next thing we need to do is identify the center. Well, remember, when we were graphing, so let me go and make a nice little. So here's like a random sketch, right? This is what you guys created in class. Vertice, vertice, center, foci, foci. Notice that the center is in the middle of your 2 foci. Notice that the center is in the middle of your 2 vertices. Notice that the center is in the middle of your 2 co-vertices. So do I have enough information that I can find the center between my 2 foci or the center between my 2 co-vertices? Yes, right? And you can see that the center is going to be at 1, 1. So I'll write that information down. Center, 1, 1. Remember, that's your h and that's your k, right? Because that's in the notes. The next thing is find the values for a and for b. Remember, the distance from your center to your foci was c. The distance from your center to your vertice was a. And the distance from the center to your co-vertice was b. Well, what information we get? We're only given foci and co-vertices. So let's find that information. So we can say that b is going to equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. b equals 8. Would everybody agree? And you could have gone down, too. But it doesn't. The direction can be positive or negative. But the length is absolute length, which is 8. And then we can figure out what c is, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just double check that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So does everybody see how I found b and c? But the problem says find a and b, right? I don't know what a is. Fortunately for us, though, we have this equation. C squared equals a squared minus b squared. So if I have 2 of those pieces of information, can I figure out what a squared is? Yes, of course I can. So I'll just type in 6 squared equals a squared minus 8 squared. 36 equals a squared minus 64 plus 64 plus 64. 100 equals a squared. That's very important. I don't need to solve for a, because in reality, in my equation, I need to solve for a squared. Now, I have a horizontal major axis. There's only 2 formulas, where the major axis is horizontal and where the major axis is vertical. Do you guys remember when we looked at those 2 equations? Where was a when it was a major axis was horizontal? Under the x, right? Because x is left and right. X is horizontal. So here's my equation that I'm going to use. X minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. So now, ladies and gentlemen, what I need to do is just plug in my information. I already know what a squared is. That's 100. H is 1. So x minus 1 over a squared, which is 100, plus y minus k, k is also 1, squared over b squared. Well, in this case, we don't have b squared, but we have b. If b is 8, that means b squared is 64 equals 1.